It's been quite a wait, but guess what? Breakout Racing League is back once more for Season 9. Welcome along to Breakout Racing League. We're here for the Tier 3 Championship for the season opener here in Bahrain. And oh boy, a lot has changed since we last left off in Brazil in Season 8. For one, you can already tell the cars are completely different. Air regulations have changed, tires have changed, they're now 18-inch, but the passion, what's the word I'm looking for? The feeling, I guess, of trying to go for the absolute maximum and go for a title is still very much the same, but a new challenge has emerged. Who can conquer it? We will have to find out. Now, we're here at the Bahrain Grand Prix at the Bahrain International Circuit. You got 15 corners that make up this track, 9 to the right and 6 to the left, 3 DRS zones, 1 down the main straight, 1 going to turn 4, and the other one going over to turn 11. There should be plenty of overtakes and plenty of action, as we have seen in real life, and also in Breakout Racing League itself. My name is Miniko, your main commentator, and alongside me is Zach. Now, Zach, it's a new era of Formula 1 with all these regulations, but who knows what is going to happen? How do you feel this season's going to go?
I mean, it could go both ways, really. I could see it being very exciting to new aero regulations. And also, DRS, you forgot to mention, DRS isn't as powerful here. So if you're able to get around somebody, there is a low percentage chance that they can fight back on a DRS straight, unless it's like a Monza DRS straight, for example. But anyway, I'm feeling very excited for the season. Very excited to see what these drivers can do as a shake-up of the grid. And like you said, the new cars, it's definitely going to be a whole new challenge for these drivers.
It definitely will be, and as of right now, we've got 17 drivers joining us here today, but let's quickly go through the driver roster, shall we, for Tier 3. So, in the Mercedes, we've got a familiar face of Gary, who was a Tier 3 champion back in Season 7, and he's in that Mercedes once again for the 3rd season in a row, so he's very familiar with that car. And alongside him is a returning driver of Echo. We haven't seen him in a bit, but he is here. He's here for Tier 3, and we'll see what he can do on his return. Next up is Red Bull, and we've got the coach that is flying the flag. Oh, and he just has a spin at turn 10. But he's flying the flag with Red Bull alongside his teammate, TRL Stig. Both of them, hopefully they can challenge for something great. We'll have to find out going through this season. Now, Ferrari, they have Iceman 94, which is kind of convenient, because Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen, you know, it is what it is. And then alongside him is Frizy, who was in Tier 4 last season, so he's up to Tier 3. We shall see what Frizy can do, but right now he's just trying to set up a lap, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Next team is going to be McLaren, in which Butters, who's currently top of the session right now with a 130.2, Butters is in the McLaren alongside FinFan, and FinFan he said he's had quite a bit of a performance drop, but we'll see what he can do in this season nonetheless. Maybe he can challenge for the title once again. Again, we'll just have to find out. Next up is Alpine, and we've got Ryan Ocon, who I believe is a new driver to the tier, and in BRL in and of itself, so we'll have to see what he could do. Shredder as well, he's in Tier 3 once again, also flying the Alpine flag. Next up, AlphaTauri, and AlphaTauri, they've got a quite interesting dynamic of drivers. They've got Quick Tongue in one seat of the AlphaTauri. We'll see what he can do since promoted up to Tier 3. And then, in the other seat, we've got the previous Tier 4 champion of Season 8, that being One Underdog. So, jumping up to another tier, who knows what he can do? Can he challenge for the top once again? We will just have to find out. Next up is Aston Martin. We actually don't have any Aston Martins here, which is surprising. I think I saw Rutski join, if I'm not mistaken. But he is in the Aston Martin alongside Whiffy, so both currently not in their car, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully they can join in. Well, Rutski is here, so there you go. Next up is Williams, and you've got the unknown in the Williams alongside DTF1 Days. in which Days had a bit of a moment before we even got here, but he's sorted everything out. Next up, Alfa Romeo being Redeemer, the Tier 3 coordinator for this season. And needless to say, that Alfa Romeo looks very, very pretty. And alongside him, although Yortster is in the car, he's a reserve for this week. It's actually Gert alongside Redeemer, in which those guys are from ACC. They know each other from ACC, so they know each other somewhat. And then last, but certainly not least, we've got Haas. With Nava, I believe, a new driver to the tier, as well as Loud Balloon. So, Haas have a completely different driver lineup, I guess you could say. But, needless to say, who knows how this season is going to go?
I mean, like, who really knows, really? Is that a stroke out there? My apologies. But I'm looking around the grid so far, and it's looking like we're having a bit of a grid separation. Excuse me once again. But I'm not losing any hope yet, at least. I believe the drivers are still getting used to, like, a new handling model, because before the season, like 2 weeks ago, they updated the model, and some drivers, including me, haven't gotten used to it yet. So that field spread may lower down a little bit. But I see a lot of drivers. The name that pops up to me the most, really, is Gary, because I did commentate him winning the championship over Ron as Georgester in the beautiful Alfa Romeo. He goes on pole for 29.6. Let's see if anybody could hit middle 29s. But anyway, I commentated Gary winning the championship 2 seasons ago, and I think he's going to be the driver to look out for this season.
Yeah, and likewise, like he was last season, he was very competitive here in Tier 3, so it'll not be a surprise that if he is going to be challenging for the title, we'll have to find out. Let's see if he can have the set of cars and the set of handling model nailed down. Right now, he's currently 9th with a 131.9, which isn't entirely all that competitive, but there's still plenty of time left in qualifying. We got 10 drivers so far that have set a lap time. And we'll see if anybody else can put in a competitive lap time. I believe the next person is going to be... I think that's a Haas making his way. It is, and it's Nava R in the Haas. We'll see what he can do. First qualifying lap here in BRL, coming around the final corner. He's kept it valid, so well done to him. Where can he put that Haas? P3. Very good lap there.
Yes, so something to look out for as well is if Ferrari engines 1, 2, 3, since it's equal performance, engines do not matter. But something cool to look at. But next drive across the line will be the Alpine, I believe, of Ocon. Yes, Ryan Ocon 31. I wonder who that username is intended for. Cough, cough, Ben Ocon. But anyway, he starts his lap now. Next driver to cross the line is the Alfa Romeo of Georgester, I believe. And yes, it is. Going to pit lane. And that is McLaren next. That would be Butters. He's starting his lap now. But it seems like a lot of drivers still getting warmed up with the new model and the new cars as 12. Not 12. I believe that is 7. Actually, now that's 7. No, 6. Excuse me. I was right the first time. 6. Now 5 drivers. Finn Fan goes top with a 29.4. Basically getting around 29.5 as we now struck past the mid 29s and now we've hit the 29.4s. So the times are definitely starting to ramp up now, and we still have 8.5 minutes left to go in qualifying.
We could potentially see a low 29 or possibly dipping into the 28s this qualifying session. We'll just have to find out. The coach comes across the line and he goes out to P13 with a 132.4. We'll see if he can possibly improve that lap time. One thing's for sure is I'm definitely expecting some drivers to have a bit of a, I guess, fall from glory, as some would say. I mean, obviously everyone wants to be part of glory, but there might be a chance that some drivers might really struggle with these cars and with this performance patch. But you just never know. We just don't know how it's going to work out. As I believe that was an Alpine that crossed the line. That Ryan Ocon, he goes up to P4. So very good lap time from him, but I could potentially expect somebody to struggle in these types of cars, which wouldn't surprise me considering they're extremely, extremely different. But who knows? We just simply don't know. We'll just have to find out come the race, and of course, right now in qualifying, Fan though definitely not struggling right now. The 129.4, as you mentioned before. Can anybody possibly try and challenge that?
I mean, so far we have Iceman, we have Ryan, we have Georgester. We could even put it never in the mix for qualifying so far. Just we still have two drivers that haven't even came out of the pits yet for their first lap attempt. So who knows? Maybe those two can have a run for pole. But like you said, we just don't know at the moment. As I believe Iceman is going through Sector 2 right now. Yes, he is in the Ferrari. Didn't see a Sector 1 time, but coming across Sector 2, it may be a purple, it may be a purple glitch, but who knows. As he is 4 tenths up, which will put him at a 29.3. Yes, it would, and it put him a pole ahead of FinFan by at least a tenth at the moment. So yes, these drivers definitely proving his Ryan icon on his lap and validates and spins a turn 10 curb as Stig actually goes pole for 29.3. So add Stig in the mix for pole position maybe as Iceman falls to actually doesn't fall, improves to P3, had a horrid Sector 3. If he still
lost about
lost
2
pole.
tenths in Sector 3, but still a decent lap time. Oh, and he spins round at turn 2. Turn 2 proving very tricky around here, by the way. Just the traction going through that corner has not been very kind to pretty much every driver, so we'll have to watch out, possibly see quite a few mistakes there. So far, that's only the first mistake I've seen at that corner. I definitely could be wrong, but that's at least what I've seen. But yeah, Iceman P3, he's a 10.5 currently back right now. The top 4 is just under 3 tenths, so pretty competitive grid, and everyone's separated by 3 seconds between one Red Bull to the next. With Stig on pole to coach down in 16th, as I believe that was Frizy coming across the line. He improved to P13. Gary improves quite a bit. He's up to 6th now with a 129.8. So there we go. Gary, very much in the mix.
It seems like you basically the whole top 10 at this point could have a run for pole, but a whole second separates Stig from Redeemer. Stig on pole in the Red Bull, and Redeemer in P10 in the Alfa Romeo. Redeemer warming up his tires to go for a quality run. 5 minutes left in qualifying. We're now getting near the time where you're going to set all runs on your 4, I believe. I haven't checked it. It's either 4 or 3. You know, since you're as realistic. If it's 4, if you want to get 4 runs in, I would probably go for my 3rd one, like right now, ASAP. And even then, it may be questionable if you want to go for your 4th. So we still have another run to go through before qualifying settled.
It definitely will be very difficult to set for lap times. I've definitely experienced that because obviously around this track, as we're seeing right now, it's a 1 minute 30 in terms of lap time, as the unknown is retired from the session in the pits. So he's thinking that's the maximum he can get. It's a bit early, but you know, maybe he just feels as if he can't go faster. But yeah, 4 sets of tires. It's gonna be very difficult to do that, but someone will definitely try. I won't, because I definitely would not even bother, because maybe I need a set of softs. You never know. But 3 is definitely, I guess you could say, the predicted amount that you would do for amount of laps, and that is pretty much what everyone's doing. As Jordster goes out to provisional pole with a 129 flat, nearly 3 tenths ahead of Stig. That's a very good lap time. We could definitely see some 28s.
Yes, we definitely can. As FinFan is on an outlap, 3 minutes 38 to go now in qualifying. We may see drivers getting out in their last run now. ZTF 1 days retires in the pit lane. But something to remember as well, there is no tire rule anymore. They got rid of that, so the top 10 can start on whatever tire they want. And now you may be asking, well, Zach, what tire strategy is it going to be? Well, honestly, it can vary. From what I saw in other leagues, you could do medium soft. But what we saw in Realistic last night is either medium hard or hard medium was the way to go. Let's see if that will be replicated tonight, or maybe we will see something random, really. Just taking a gamble. Let's see if anybody will take that gamble from medium soft.
Yeah, we'll definitely just have to find out come the race. Echo goes up to 3rd, by the way, and he put in a very good lap time, just 3.5 tenths shy of pole. I'm not sure if he has enough time to do another lap. Yeah, no, I don't think he has enough time to do laps, so that's the maximum he can get, but a bunch of people are now starting to set up their lap times. I believe the next person is going to be Butters coming across the line. No, it's not. It's actually FinFan who's starting his final flying lap, so people getting final flying laps in pretty early, must be said. I believe the next person to cross the line is going to be, at least one that's on a lap right now, is going to be Quick Tongue. in the AlphaTauri, though he's very low on ERS, so I think he may or may not be, well, he might not be on a lap right now. So right now, everyone just, quite a few people in the pits, but quite a few people on their outlaps right now. I gotta ask the question, though.
Crash! And FinFan has spun around! I had my Lindell Jr. moment, but now, unless he can get the car back and cross the line in time, because he cannot go in the pits. But once again, with the no tire allocation rule, I believe, it's tire start rule, excuse me, he can still go for another run, but his tires may be cooked after that one.
We'll see if he's able to. I believe he should have enough time, but it's the question of how much battery he has. That's something we forgot to mention, by the way. Battery consumption when it comes to hot laps is extreme. You've got quite a bit of something on your mic.
Yeah, I know. It's something on my phone playing. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
I'm trying to get rid of it.
But yeah, that's something we forgot to mention, though. ERS depletion throughout a hot lap has been significantly increased as Butters goes up to P11. You pretty much use your entire ERS when doing a lap. So if you spin on your lap, you cannot regenerate and do another lap. You'll run out by the time you reach halfway through the lap, pretty much. So that's something that these drivers have to make sure that they shouldn't do, which is make mistakes. The second they make a mistake, that's their lap pretty much done.
Yeah, I apologize. I just now got rid of it. My mic is muted, so I apologize for that one. I may have gotten the stream copyrighted for whoever knows. But FinFan, like what I said, is going for another run. 35 seconds left in qualifying. So drivers like Quick Tongue, Stick, and Yorkster will not be able to go out in time and do a lap. So their qualifying is finished. Looking at Echo jumped up to P3 while we were talking about battery deletion during qualifying lap and how it's been ramped up. And yes, I would like to add that they definitely added that, unless if they didn't talk about it. But FinFan is half a tenth up on his qualifying run right now. Does not spin on that. I believe it's turn 8 or turn 9. Not sure what turn that is, but did not spin on that curb. So as long as he can just push it home, he might be able to snatch pole away from Georgester.
Watch out for Gary, though. He just had a purple sector 2, and he's 4.5 tenths up right now. So Gary looking on a pretty good lap right now. We'll see what he can do through the final sector, coming around the final two corners, turn 14 and 15. Getting a little bit of slipstream action there from his teammate, actually, of Echo. Is it going to be able to be enough? No, it's not. It's only P5. Gary slots into fifth
around in turn 10. The turn 10 curve strikes once again. That's his qualifying over. Unfortunate for McLaren. FinFan had very strong pace, but wasn't able to show it for the run for pole. Iceman, a 10th up on his lap time. He will be P3 if he keeps it the same way, but still, we have a straight and a corner to go before the start-finish line. As I will leave it to you to see where Iceman goes.
Going around the final two corners, the soon he'll have to open up the DRS now. What's the time going to be? He's currently 6th. Can he improve any better? He goes onto the front row, but no one, I believe, is able to dislodge Yorkster right now, unless someone further down can. What about Loud Balloon? No, he's quite a ways down on his lap time. Won't be able to improve. Next up, going to be One Underdog. He's 1.4 seconds up on his lap time. Can he go for pole here? He goes onto the front row with a purple sector 3, a great lap from One Underdog. Can anybody else behind improve? What about the coach? No, the coach does not improve. It's Yorkster on pole position in his first race, and One Underdog, previous Tier 4 champion, on the front row. Quite an exhilarating qualifying. I did not expect that.
Yeah, like what we said at the start of the stream, new regulations, we may see a shake-up in the grid, and guess what, folks? We do have a shake-up in the grid, at least in qualifying so far. Let's not jump to the conclusion. So, quality pace is definitely different compared to last season, but we still have a race to go through, so not all is lost yet for FinFan and DTF 1 Days, who didn't even set a lap time.
Yeah, we'll just have to find out what they can do in the race. But Yorkster on pole position from One Underdog. Iceman lines up 3rd ahead of Stig. Then it's Echo in 5th ahead of FinFan, Gary, Ryan Ocon, Nava R, and Redeemer rounding out the top 10 here in Bahrain tonight. I thought If I'm being honest, I thought Gary might have been a little bit higher there, but I guess he just wasn't able to get the laps in. We'll see what he can do in the race, though. Maybe he has better race pace in this game. Or if anybody else further down has good race pace, we'll just have to see. But right now, we're just waiting for everyone to pretty much just formalize their setups, formalize their strategy. Imagine. Imagine if it rains at Bahrain. What that would be so weird, actually. Just seeing that, there'd be no way. I would just quit. It's like I never prepared for the rain here, and yet it's raining. Like no, just simply no. I wouldn't do it.
Bro, we're going in the race. Like, yeah, it's gonna be full dry, no question about it. Load screen, screen finishes loading, and the pit lane is soaked and it's pouring down rain.
God no, please no.
I'll be right back. I do gotta go pee. So, also.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for letting everyone know that's watching. Okay. I guess it's just me in the booth for now. Ball guy, by the way. Yeah, it's a very good lap for one underdog. Going onto the front row was very impressive indeed. But we're now on the formation lap. And, well, let's see what we've got for tire strategy. And we've got quite a bit of a mix-up, actually. So we've got Yorster on pole position. He goes on to the medium compounded tire. One underdog goes on to the hards. Iceman and Stig on the medium. And then Echo and FinFan on the hard. Gary, Ryan, Alcon, Nava are all on the mediums. Redeemer rounding out the top 10 on the hard compounded tires. And then 11th down to 19th is on medium, except for the coach. He's decided to go onto the soft compounded tire, which is very surprising. I did not expect to see softs. And, well, let's see what he can do from 17th on the grid. He's planning to go aggressive by the looks of it. We'll see if that pans out his way. But I want to know, everyone from the chat right now, well, if you guys want to put in your predictions, what are your predictions for possibly a podium? A bit of a shock? Or who do you think could potentially go for the win? I would like to hear it. I personally don't know, because it's only the first race of the season, so I can't really say. But I definitely could see a bunch of surprises. We have a McLaren spun round. I believe that is Butters. Yes, it is. He's managed to keep... luckily, there is no damage. But he's had a bit of a mishap on the formation lap. By the way, something I wanted to mention on the formation lap. There's one thing that is new, and that these drivers can all line up on the grid themselves. That's right. The AI doesn't take over when you go through the final corner. They line up on the grid themselves. And that'll depend on how the start of their race goes. Because as I say, you can't win a race from the start, but you can definitely lose one. So you have to plan that, and it looks like that's what everyone's going to do now. Everyone now going to line up on the grid. 29 laps of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Bahrain has provided plenty of great season openers. We are potentially going to see another one here tonight as Yorster lines up on pole position. One underdog on the front row. Oh, and we've already got quite a few disqualifications, so that is definitely going to hurt their start of the race. Oh, and we've got more. We've got even more. As we're waiting on Rutski and Butters to line up in their grid slots. Rutski, unfortunately, not able to join in qualifying, but he is here for the race. Nonetheless, he'll line up in P19, Butters in P12, as we get ready for the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix. I do not have the best of angles, but it's 5 red lights on! It's lights out, and away we go! A bit of wheel spin for most of these drivers, especially for one underdog, but Yorster gets an amazing start from pole, and he's clear into the first corner. Echo trying to go for the lead. He's actually ramping someone right there. I'm trying to get a good angle there. There we go. Echo getting a great start on the hards. He's already up to second. Stig at the third. Gary up to fourth. The quiet area, a bit of a shake-up as we have a yellow flag down to turn one, but it doesn't look like anybody spun right now. So it's good to see everyone so far keeping it clean. Gary making a move on Stig. Has he got the head of the Red Bull? Yes, he has. There is. I'm trying to find out where that is. Is that Iceman? Yes, I think that was Iceman. Doesn't look like there's any front wing damage, though, for the Ferrari, so he's going to be able to keep on going. Meanwhile, there's a battle for 4th and 5th going on right now. Actually, no, never mind. There's a battle for 3rd still going on as Gary's trying to defend from Stig. So Stig trying to gain back that 3rd place spot as we have an Alpine going wide for the back and a Haas, and everyone just trying to make sure they get through that slow corner. A couple of people going off the track for the back. We'll see what's going on over there. And it looks like Labloon and Redeemer going wheel to wheel a little bit. Labloon gets ahead. Redeemer having a very poor start, by the way. He's all the way down in 16th. Nick that 15th now as Labloon goes wide now. Oh, we've got a yellow flag once again, and that's Shredder round. He's gone round at turn 11. Or no, turn 12. I don't know. But he's gone round at the uphill. Managed to keep it going though, no front wing damage, but now he's under pressure from Redeemer behind. Is he going to be able to make a move? Not quite. But so far, everyone keeping it clean. That's Navarre going wide. But Yorster leads the first lap. He's already 9/10, nearly a second ahead of the next driver. As we've got a Ferrari round, and both Haas's are in. Both Haas's having a horrible start. They both had to pit and have to double stack.
Yeah, very horrendous start from the Haas guys, really, but my interval is glitched, showing that Stig is a minute and a half behind the leader. I love this game. Anyway,
well,
like but you said in qualifying, you're a bit surprised that Gary's farther in the back than you expected. Well, guess what? For your sake, he's up to P3, and we have our double Merc podium as it stands. So Gary's gained a couple positions, but. While you were talking about the Redeemer and the coach battling, Fin had a bit of a moment in turn 10 while battling with Stig, and he almost went around. So these drivers definitely struggling with traction at the moment, considering that their tires are probably not warmed up to the best of their capability so far. But as Butter makes a move on Underdog, as that was a very aggressive dive bomb, but he got it to work.
Those hards clearly not working for one Underdog, and he's fallen all the way down to 7th from the front row. Not a good start for him at all, as we've got a yellow flag once again, and I believe that's quick tongue round. Or is it? He's managed to keep it going, so I guess he's okay, but now Day's trying to go for an overtake, but he goes off the track in doing so. So he's definitely going to have to see that position, but Quick Tongue having a bit of a moment. Yorster leading once again. He's 1.5 ahead of the next driver. He's absolutely flying in this race. And right now, nobody able to catch him, but Iceman now takes the fastest lap with a 133.5. He's trying to chase down one Underdog for P7 in this race. So far, the biggest gainers in this race has been Rootski, by the way. He started P19. He's already up into the top 10. So the Aston Martin having a wonderful start to this race. We'll see if he's able to make up any more positions going forward. Meanwhile, Ryan Ocon possibly going for a move on Iceman. Nope, he's just a little bit too far back for now. Right now, the biggest loser in this race has been technically both the Haas drivers, but more Navarre. A very unfortunate start for him. And who's that there? That's FinFan. FinFan is round at turn 6. Oi, I need to remember my corner names. But he's round at turn 6. Hasn't hit the wall, though, so he still has a front wing luckily for him. And that's Shredder round. Shredder spun round at turn 7. A lot of mistakes going on.
Yes, there might be a lot of mistakes, but there's also a lot of battling going on as well. Huge battle for P2 shaping up at the moment between the Mercedes cars and Stig. And also Underdog, Iceman, and Ryan Ocon are all over Butters at the moment. So a lot of mistakes. It can be costly considering how close these cars are right now.
Yeah, they are very close right now, and obviously with these new regulations, that means the cars are able to follow closely as Unknown gets past the coach. But the battle for... Oh, that's La Balloon off! That's La Balloon out of this race. Is that going to be a safety car? It is a safety car, full course. So that is definitely going to shake up... that's definitely going to shake up for strategy, and that might actually help the coach a little bit, because remember, he started on those softs, and he's already in.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all whatsoever. Softs here at the start, definitely it's not good as he goes on the softs again. I did not expect that. I expected the mediums or something, or the hards. See if he can stretch it, but another set of softs. Going aggressive
in this race. Bit of an interesting call there. Yeah, he is. So a bit of an interesting call there from the Red Bull. We'll see if he can do anything of it. Meanwhile, a couple of people also have pitted. FinFan has gone on to the mediums. Days goes on to the hards, and same with Shredder. So I know those have pitted have mostly gone on hards, with FinFan on medium, the coach on softs as Days goes wide at the first corner, just breaking a little bit too deep. But the question is, well, not really a question, but Well, no, it is a question. What am I saying? Would you pit if you're on the mediums? Or would you extend?
Oh, excuse me, but personally, I would extend on the mediums. There's no point in pitting right now. The hards can't make it at the moment. So really, if you're a medium runner, this actually helps you a little bit because if you're good at extending your tires, you could possibly think of the strategy where if the safety car can stay out long enough, maybe I could stretch these tires enough to guard the softs. Which, if you would like to do that, you would have to pit around lap 19 to 22, really, to get the optimal soft pace on your car. As I believe Gary's in the pit lane. As soon as I say that, very interesting decision. He's going on the hards. He's going to try and extend it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting call there from the Mercedes. We'll see what he can do now on those hard compounded tires. He should come out easily ahead of Dakota, which, well, yeah, he definitely will. I mean, the difference between them is huge. So Gary will line up in P12 now. Oh, and there's a bit of overtaking going on. Oh, wait, actually, no, there's more than overtaking. Steg has gone round. He's lost his front wing.
Where?
Turn 4.
That is a very interesting place to crash at. Maybe he was weaving.
He's trying to weave and warm up his tires, and he just lost the rear, maybe. But that has absolutely destroyed his races. He's going to line up behind the safety car, and he has to pit.
I mean, good for him that the safety car will come in this lap, but that put them at risk of not catching up the safety car in time. In order for the
safety
restart.
car will come out. I think the safety car will stay out another lap because Navarre right now is currently making his way over to turn 4, whereas the safety car is now over at turn 11. So I think he'll stay out for another lap, which would be great for him. By the way, quick mention, Echo on those hard compounded tires. He's been running very well as he is currently up 3 positions and currently lining up in second. Butters, by the way. I don't know what he's been doing, but Butters is up 9 positions. So the McLaren clearly has quite a lot of race pace right now. Same with Rutski as well. Rutski is up 12. Rutski having a great start to this race despite lining up in P19 and last. But people have pitted. Let's not forget that. How will that pan out is the question. The one thing's for sure is that Yordster, I think he's just going to want to pull the gap like he did before. Oh, and that's
Frizzy's around at turn 10. But back on Butters, I'd just like to say good for him, man. I've raced him since I even joined this league, and it's never mind. That's just desync. I thought he went off in the grass. I was about to say if I jinxed him right there, I've been so mad. But good for him. Once again, he's been in this league before I was, and it's cool to see him up there battling for podiums at the moment.
Yeah, it definitely is. Sorry about that.
Did you just die?
Stig, yeah, I did. Stig went into the pits, by the way, unsurprisingly, and obviously to change his front wing, but he's gone onto the soft compound of tires. So both Red Bulls, interestingly, on the soft. So they're going to try and go aggressive once again. And, well, I'm a bit surprised by this. I expected more mediums, more hards. I mean, there's still a lot of them. But Red Bull doing something a little different. Hopefully they aren't copying Ferrari in real life, because if they are, then that's just not gonna turn out well. Sorry, Ferrari. You guys are great, but come on, work out your strategies.
You're not.
Oh, well, I mean, Sainz isn't in there. You know me. I like Sainz. Come on. I like both drivers.
For Sainz, then.
No. I feel bad for Leclerc too. I feel bad for both of them. They deserve better strategies. I think everyone can agree on that. I believe the safety car will come in on this lap as they're going to come across to the Sector 3 split. And there we go. Safety car is in. The lights are off on that Mercedes safety car. And now it is up to Yordster to decide when is the field going to go again. As he's probably just going to bide his time, warm up his tires, bunch everybody up, and then he will go on his discretion. The Alfa Romeo has been pretty dominant so far in this race as we have a bit of commotion going on further back between FinFan, Shredder, and Daze. Yortster not quite going yet. Is he gonna? When is he gonna? When is he just gonna punch it?
Right there.
Looks like it's going to be now. He is gone now, and he has caught out Echo quite a bit, but not enough. But now, the race is now resumed, and Butters is already looking interested on possibly going for a move on Echo. He does! On the inside goes Butters, and has he gone a bit too deep, though? Echo fighting it back. Round the outside goes the Mercedes. Butters, unfortunately, just losing out, but that was a very bold move. And actually, wait a minute. Echo is now challenging for the lead on the inside of the turn 4. Can Yortster held it around the outside? No, he can't. Echo takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. A great restart for the Mercedes. The Mercedes is now back in the lead once more as Iceman possibly looking for a move of one underdog. Not quite. Just has to stay behind the AlphaTauri for now. Let's see if he can shape one up here. He does on the inside. One underdog sees him coming. And is it going to be enough? No, the Ferrari just has to stay behind. Now Ryan Ocon is now looking interested around the outside of turn 9 and 10. You don't have to see a move around there. And you throw this around. He's spun around. He's going on the curb. And that has completely unsettled the car. And he is round. As we got 2 3-second time penalties for Ruski and for Navarre. But Ryan Ocon just clearly not having the grip, and the car just simply bottoming out there, and that has absolutely cost them. Meanwhile, further behind, the two Red Bulls going at it between Stig and DeCoach. DeCoach trying to hold back Stig right now, but Stig manages to get ahead, so the Red Bulls do swap, and Stig is now up into P11. DeCoach down into P12, but Echo, what a great restart from him. He has already pulled a second at Shredder's round.
Like, wow, that reminded me of what Kimi Räikkönen did at Germany 2019, where Seb was pressurizing him, and then he got clear of Seb and passed Kevin Magnussen, but instead of that, it's for the lead, and after that, he's just pulled a gap. It just seems like Drudster maybe hasn't warmed up his tires, maybe, because I saw him understeering quite a lot throughout that whole lap, and he still is understeering.
And that's quick tongue round. That's quick tongue round to turn 1. Just lost it on exit. He was battling for P8. But now it's all the way down as Butters has made a move on Yortster, I believe. Has he managed to get past the Alfa Romeo? Yes, he has. So Butters is up into second place. That McLaren is looking very racy here in Bahrain tonight.
It is indeed, and like what I said earlier, I don't believe Yortster's tires are warmed up at the moment. He keeps understeering all over the place. He couldn't even hold Butters on the outside through a turn 4 there. And now he has Underdog all over him, too.
And Underdog is on those hards, let's not forget. So is Echo. Can one Underdog possibly go for a move? No, he's not. He's just a little bit too far back. And Yortster goes a bit wide there at turn 11. And one Underdog now gets a position from the Alfa Romeo. Underdog up to third. Yortster is really struggling on the safety car restart. What has happened to the Alfa Romeo as we have a McLaren round? And that's FinFan once again. That McLaren, in comparison to Butters, is just not having a good time right now.
It's really not, but Butters really starting to have a train between himself, Underdog, Yortster, Iceman, Rutsky. Basically, the whole field is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to have a huge DRS train as Yortster is starting to finally get some traction on the entry corners. I've been watching his onboard this whole lap, but still not as much compared to when he was leading.
Meanwhile, further behind, Ryan Ocon has managed to get past Navarre. Daze is possibly looking for a move on the outside. Unfortunately, Navarre just able to squeeze him out and manages the whole position for now. Nava now has the DRS on Ryan Ocon. Is he able to make a move down into turn 4? Not quite. He's just a little bit too far back. But can he possibly get him on the exit? Nope. Ryan Ocon just with those medium compounded tire, just able to simply pull away for now. We'll see if they could possibly have a little bit more of a battle later on. But meanwhile, one Underdog slowly reeling in Butters right now. And Butters having a little bit of moment at turn 10. And one Underdog has the DRS on the McLaren. Is going to be able to make a move down into turn 11. He's going to pull to the right-hand side. Possibly go around the outside. Butters defends it and is able to successfully keep the AlphaTauri at bay. Butters keep holding second position for now, but Underdog just has a lot of speed. He has a lot of traction in relation to that McLaren. I mean, look at Echo on those hards. Echo's basically gone from this pack.
Yeah, I believe we're at the crossover point where the mediums are no longer quicker than the hards. And you can see that, and that's 2 cars around.
That's 2!
Shredder.
That's Ryan Ocon a quick tongue.
Oh, I thought it was Shredder. Yeah, it's Ryan Ocon. You're correct. As with DRS activated, Underdog's going to have a bit of slipstream. The overspeed Butters tries to go defensive, but there's nothing really he can do. But he's still able to keep it around the outside. Underdog under the brakes more and better as he's able to get ahead, as that is Redeemer off, I believe.
Something happened to him on the main straight.
I hate to interrupt you, but
Iceman
is looking for a move on the inside of turn 4. Let's see if he's able to get the move done. I don't believe it's tire warm-up anymore for Georgester. He's still looking off. Does he have a little bit of wing damage, maybe? I don't see anything. It just seems like once his car got in dirty air, it's been a fall from grace from there, as he's now even being threatened by Ritsky to fall out of the top 5.
It's almost as if his car is a 2020 Mercedes, where it can be quick and clean air, but in dirty air, he just seems to struggle. That might be the case, as we have another yellow flag. FinFan's round once again. FinFan just not having a great time in that McLaren right now, and his Iceman now starting to pull away from Yortster once again. Now, Yortster still trying to hang on right now. Nothing doing so far. Oh, that was a bit of a moment there from Gary further back. We haven't really mentioned Gary that much since the safety car restart. Well, he's up into P7, so he's had a pretty good race now. He's managed to climb back up the order as we have a yellow flag once again. That's Frizy. Frizy's round.
Yes, but look at the gap between Echo and Underdog. Over half a second is gone between Underdog and Echo. Just that lap alone, and Underdog, not surprisingly, sets the fastest lap for 32.969. But Butters with DRS, will he look for a re-overtake on Butters, excuse me, on Underdog of AlphaTauri, but not able to do that. Gets a little bit of oversteer, has to correct the rear, but not much, but still will prevent him to overtake heading into turn 4. But at that point, but honestly, if I'm Butters, I would just let Underdog just carry me to Echo, because he is flying at the moment.
Meanwhile, further back, Stig trying to look for a move on Gary right now. Both are pretty low on ERS. You can see them blinking, but Stig trying to use those softs to his absolute maximum. The coach's round. Gary defending the inside from Stig, but he goes a little bit too deep, and now the Red Bull has the superior traction, and Stig is now up into 7th place. Gary down to 8th. Those softs clearly working well. And now he's going to try and chase after Ruski for 6th place in this race, as Ruski has a little bit of a moment there off of turn 10. And Stig closing in on that Aston Martin. Can he have a look into turn 11? No. Stays behind for now.
That's a Red Bull rounded the coach, but Iceman is all over the rear gearbox of Butters in the McLaren. 10 lap old meters for both of the drivers, as Georgester is right behind Ferrari, waiting in the wings to see if these two step over each other and see if Georgester can make a passes. Stig is already wheel to wheel of Ritsky, but slows down to get the DRS, as I believe he'll easily get the pass right here on the DRS straight, the overspeed and the superior traction.
On board with the Iceman going down the main straight. He pulls to the right-hand side of the McLaren of Butters, and that looks to be an easy move for the Ferrari, and indeed it is. Can Butters fight it back, though? Under
They're going
braking,
3
not
wide
quite.
at turn 1 between Ritsky, Stig, and Gary. Still going 3 wide, and Ritsky, the ultimate loser out of that, as Gary gets around the Aston Martin of Ritsky, and Stig gets around him as well. So not a very good moment for the Aston Martin driver right there.
I'm still having a bit of issues. Hang on a minute.
I'm AFK, as the coach is around.
I think it's good now.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. I thought you went AFK.
Well, not quite. My mic had a bit of a moment, but everything's all cleared up now, so we are still here. We're still good to go. FinFan around once again at turn 2. That McLaren just really struggling right now. Same with Butters. It seems like his mediums are going off as we have a yellow flag further back down in Sector 2. That's a quick tongue round. And also that is the Red Bull once again of DeCoach. DeCoach round once again. What is happening to that Red Bull? I don't see any damage, so clearly those softs have just completely gone off now. And well, that's going to be his race done and dusted. He's going to be a lap down now.
Unfortunate for him, unless he can unlap himself, but Underdog is quicker than Echo, but guess what? The Ferrari of Iceman is quicker than Underdog, so at this rate, we may see 3 drivers have a battle for the lead before we know it.
Yeah, we definitely can. We've got quite a few people in the pits, by the way, that being Yortster, Rutski and Ryan Alcon right now, as we have a battle going on for P7 between Nava and Redeemer. And Nava just not able to make a move on that Alfa Romeo. The Redeemer defends the inside on the Haas, and the Haas is just not close enough to make a move. So Redeemer able to stay up into P7. As Frezzy and Ruski have a little bit of contact into turn 1. Frezzy able to stay ahead of the Aston Martin, sorry. And actually, Ruski was coming out of the pits there. So possibly broke a little bit too deep on cold tires. That's something to remember, by the way. When you come out of the pits, you don't have optimal tires now. You now have extremely cold tires, and you have to warm them up as quickly as you can. I mean, just looking at the Aston Martin, you can see him just pretty much understeering through every corner. He's trying to turn the wheel as much as he can. He's just not able to generate any grip right now. That's going to make the difference between strategy right now, as we have a yellow flag. Nava's round.
Just as Dig is all over Butters right now. Seems like those softs will not fall off a pace as going on the main straight. As Butters is actually coming in the pit lane, as Stig actually gets a little bit of slipstream from doing that, but as Iceman...
Down the inside goes Iceman into turn 1, and he's going to be able to clear one underdog. They brace a little bit too deep, and there's... Ooh. I'm not sure if there was contact or not. That was definitely D-Sig by the looks of it. But Iceman gets ahead of the AlphaTauri. He's now up into second place. Can Underdog fight it back, though? Into turn 4. No, he cannot. Stays behind. But now that's Iceman up into second place. And now he's going to try and chase after Echo. But he still has to pit. And, well, so does Echo and Underdog as well. But that's something to mention, because Underdog and Echo are going to be on a softer, fresher compound by the time Iceman is... well, pretty much on his own, I would say. So let's not forget that. We'll have to watch out as to how that will pan out. Meanwhile, the highest man that has pitted in this race is currently Butters. He's going wheel to wheel with DeCoach right now, as DeCoach is trying to unlap himself from the McLaren, but he just stays behind for now. But Butters currently still in the top 10 on those hard compound of tires. He's just going to try and warm up those puppies as soon as he can, so he doesn't lose too much time, as Yorster is slowly closing in on the McLaren. But another person who's still staying on the back of another car right now is one Underdog. He's still sticking very nicely onto the back of that Ferrari. That Ferrari is very low on ERS right now. Does he go into the pits this lap? I tell you what, yes he does. So, Iceman now into the pits on lap 15. Oh! 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Iceman. That's going to absolutely hurt his race as he now changes to the hard compounded tire.
I believe unless Underdog can catch back up, because with that price Iceman and Underdog paid for battling going in turn 1 through turn 4, they lost a whole second to Echo. So unless Underdog can bring out some massive laps, bangers of laps, I believe with that 5-second penalty from Iceman, it's going to be a uphill climb for these gyro seats that can catch Echo for this win.
Yeah, definitely will be. Oh no, there's a bit of contact there between the Haas and the Ferrari as Nava manages to get ahead of Iceman. And Iceman, obviously, on those cold, hard compounded tires, is really going to struggle as he dives on the inside. Oh, what the? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a great game.
18 plus. You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I shouldn't really. Lovely game. Lovely.
Oh, and he's round.
Oh,
Iceman
no.
round. And that has just absolutely gone from bad to worse for the Ferrari as he's behind Yardster and Butters now. And actually, wait a minute. Stig pitted earlier. He's on a fresh set of hearts. He's in 8th. Where's that come from?
He pitted this lap. He's leaving his tires, as you can see a little bit. He's probably up the optimal temperature now. As Finn Fang's 6 time penalty, and our leader has come into the pits. Echo's in the pits for, if I had to assume, would be mediums.
Seems a little bit early for mediums. I could definitely be wrong, but yeah, that's Echo now on the medium compounded tires. So you think that these can easily go to the end, which they probably should. But that now promotes Gary up into second, Redeemer up to third. But now, Echo being the only man in the top 10 now to be on the medium compounded tires, and he shouldn't take too long to warm up those mediums as well, as obviously those being a softer compound in relation to the hard. So he should be able to get back up to pace pretty quickly, I would say. Well, to see what the Mercedes can do, hopefully he doesn't have a little bit of spin. But now, one underdog, the previous Tier 4 champion back in Season 8, is leading this race. It's good to see him back on the grid once again, and, well, he's definitely shown that he's still definitely within the mix of something. Currently leading this race, and obviously he hasn't pitted yet, but he's still running P2 nonetheless, so great pace from the AlphaTauri so far. Gary a little bit further down than I expected, but he's still very much within points-paying positions, that's for sure. And, well, who just knows? Maybe a safety car could pop up, who knows, as we actually have a yellow flag for the back, and that's Frizy gone around at turn 7.
It is, but my question is, like what I said in qualifying, I believe, will anyone take that gamble of, if, okay, we can extend these hards maybe we will see a soft, and as soon as I say that, underdog comes in the pits to pit for mediums.
Yeah, so he's definitely not thinking of going on to the soft competitor. Will actually go on board with the AlphaTauri going into the pits. Does he go onto a set of mediums? Yes, he does, and that is not surprising whatsoever. So he's going to be on that set, and he might. It's going to be close between him and Echo here, but remember, Underdog has a cold set of mediums, whereas Echo's a little bit warmed up. Echo though is very much ahead of that AlphaTauri, and actually, he's pretty much has the same gap as he did when he pitted. And it's going to increase now because Underdog has to warm up those tires. So Echo having a brilliant outlap.
Yeah, absolutely banger of an outlap. So, like what I said, it's going to be a uphill climb for Underdog with 3.5 second gap, which will probably grow into 4 seconds due to warming up those tires.
5.
I'd rather say 4. It's a lot quicker to warm up mediums than it is hards.
That is true, but you just never know sometimes, and Underdog actually has a little bit of pressure from Days behind. Days currently on 13 lap old hard, so he's still running pretty nicely. We'll see if he has to pit later on. I would suspect that he will. So we had a yellow flag for the back. Was that of the unknown? I think it might have been. Smash to keep it going, though, has the Williams, but he has a little bit of a spin, and that has absolutely hurt his race. Underdog now starting to pull away from Days, and is actually closed in a little bit on Echo now, so that is something to watch out for. But Gary now leads this race. So Gary currently leading 6.4 ahead of Redeemer so far, and then further back, actually, Redeemer goes into the pits, so completely scratched that, as now he's going to go on to a set of mediums, and Shredder will most likely go on to, well, he'll just continue on, and now he will inherit second place in this race as we have a yellow flag once again. Is that of, who is that actually? That is Frizy. It's Frizy.
Yeah, very
not entirely having the best time right now is the Ferrari, but he's still in this race, so he could still potentially grab something. You never know. Redeemer out of the pits. He is now in P11, so he could still have a shot of some points. Oh, and he has a bit of a moment there as the unknown is retired into the pits. That's a bit surprising. I mean, obviously he wasn't dead last, so that's interesting there, but Williams now out of this race.
Yes, that gap between Echo.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Iceman spun.
Hold on, I'm trying to get to him.
Spun round, exited turn 4, and he's now down to P13. What has gone on to that Ferrari? Everything has just gone from bad to worse.
Very, very unfortunate for the Ferrari even team tonight. Looked very promising between the two, and now they're outside the points. As Echo's around! Echo's around to turn 10!
Whoa! That has absolutely changed everything. The provisional race leader spun round as he is now behind Underdog, behind Days, behind Nava. He's still provisionally P2 by the looks of it. So he's going to stay, so he's still going to be P2, but one Underdog now sets the fastest lap of this race with a 132.3. He is now provisionally the race leader. Unless, don't count this out. What if Gary and Shredder are extending? What if they are extending the stint?
If they're extending, if they don't pit this lap, I'm going to have to assume that they're going to pit for softs unless they do the impossible and decide, screw it, I have nothing to lose. I can try and finish the race on this set, because with Echo going around, you gain an extra 3 seconds of race time on the next guy. That's going to be provisional race leader, which would be Underdog. So unless Underdog has 13 seconds to catch Gary in 11 laps, that is very doable considering the tires. But I want to see a driver take a gamble here, considering that they're mid-pack and they have nothing to lose.
Well, here's the thing here. If Gary were to pit right now, the delta he would lose is Echo gets past Nava. That is the battle for P4, and now Echo takes that position. But if Gary was to pit now, he will lose around 23 seconds from the pit lane alone. That'll put him down in 9th. Obviously, as you said, he will be on those soft compounded tires, but that'll lose him a ton of positions in this race. And if Shredder were to pit, he'd almost be out of the points. So that would be a lot of cars to overtake if they want the win, let alone a podium.
So yeah,
as Daze is into the pits.
I would have to assume to be mediums, unless he wants to stretch it to be soft, because soft window does not open until next lap, as that is mediums for Daze. Yellow flag, that's FinFan around, I believe, exit of turn 10. Once again, FinFan not having a good race whatsoever. But oh well, push on the next week, which is Jeddah, I believe.
That is correct. We do have Jeddah, which will be a very interesting race, needless to say. Obviously, with it being the fastest straight circuit. But we're not focused on that right now. We're still here in Bahrain as of right now. And right now, your provisional podium, if Gary and Shredder were to pit right now, your podium right now currently sits one Underdog in P1, Echo in P2, and Stig in P3. So an AlphaTauri, Mercedes, Red Bull. What? Where did Alpha come out? Okay. Yeah, no, AlphaTauri, Mercedes, and Red Bull. So that is going to be an interesting dynamic of a podium if it stays that way. And right now, Stig on 5-lap old hard, so he's not going to worry about tire wear. He's just going to want to push everything that he's got, and he's actually closing in a little bit on Echo.
Yeah, he is. I believe not. I don't think this race is not even over yet, because Gary nor Strutter has pitted this lap. So I'm hoping that we see something different, as Echo is starting to break the slipstream between himself and Stig. So it's looking like Echo's fight will be Stig and not one Underdog due to his costly mistake at turn 10.
I tell you what, though, Stig is very low on ERS. He is very low. You can see that light blinking on the rear wing of that Red Bull, and that cost him around 2/10 alone on that straight. So ERS is really playing a factor between these two, and Stig having none of it. That is absolutely hurting him right now. And also, battle for P2 could potentially be a bit of a talking point later on, as one Underdog is slowly closing in on Shredder in this race. And, well, obviously, he's still got 3.4 seconds left to catch, but you can see that Alpine further up the road. We'll see if he could possibly catch Shredder before he makes his pit stop, if he does make that pit stop, because this would be around the window where you would pit for softs, right?
Yes, it would. Starting this lap, you would pit to go on softs. So maybe we'll see some softs. Maybe we'll see Gary and Shredder extend, but we're going to have to wait and see, as Gary will stay out another lap.
I think Gary could go to the end here. I think he's trying to go for the end here. Same with Shredder.
I mean,
I genuinely don't know. So we have a yellow flag. That's quick tongue round once again. Meanwhile, battle for P4 once again about to heat up. Echo under pressure from the Red Bull, as Nava diving into the pits. Can Stig potentially make a move on the Mercedes? Red Bull against Mercedes. Stig not able to make the move yet. Oh, bit of desync there. Okay. Lovely. But Echo manages to stay ahead for P4 in this race. Though Stig, once again, has that DRS open, but just not able to do anything for now. Honorable mention, by the way, Butters. He's still very much in the mix right now. He's currently P6.
Yes, but he has George Sir all over him at the moment, as the coach gets a 5-second time penalty. and retires in this session, as there is a huge scrap going on for P8 right now between Ritsuki, Redeemer, Akon, and Iceman right now. So that may be a battle we may have to look at, as that is desync once again between Akon and Redeemer.
Yeah, these four are looking very hotly contested right now. Redeemer just trying to hang in on that DRS right now. Ryan Alcon very much on the back of that Alfa Romeo, and Iceman not too far behind as well. Obviously, Iceman with a 5-second time penalty added to his name. It's definitely going to hurt him, but though he is very much closing in on that Alpine. And I tell you what, he could potentially go for a move here, you know? On the inside, dive it. No, Ryan Alcon just breaks that little bit later. So Alcon able to stay ahead. It's almost as I said Esteban Alcon, but it's Ryan Alcon. That was a little weird. Moving on.
Yes,
The
but
Redeemer's now closing in on the back of Rutski now. He's got the DRS. His Yordster is also making for a move. Two Alfa Romeos going for a move on the main straight. Rutski trying to defend the inside as Redeemer's now going to try and go around the outside. Fries round, and is Redeemer trying to go around the outside, but Rutski able to defend it. Might have been a bit of contact there. I'm not entirely sure, but Redeemer stays behind for now as we've got two yellow flags out now, and that's FinFan once again. Redeemer is able to make a move on Rutski. Not quite. Stays behind for now.
underdog.
Oh, and that's the Ferrari! Iceman round once again.
As a Haas
It's
is around
gone
as well.
horribly.
That's never
Oh,
around.
it is. It has gone horribly wrong for Ferrari and for Iceman. As Frizy is into the pits.
Yes, but
And he's going on to a set of softs.
one underdog is currently on the fringes of DRS, and actually he will have DRS at the moment, as that is an Alfa Romeo round, or had a half spin. Actually, I don't even know
I think
what
there might have
happened.
been contact.
Between Redeemer and Ryan Alcon.
I believe that might have been what happened because they lost around 5 seconds to Rutski. So that is... I'm not sure what's happened there. Meanwhile, further up ahead, one underdog closing in once again on the back of Shredder for P2 in this race. He has that DRS. Does he have the superior traction as FinFan comes out of the pits, and he's unfortunately a lap down. Not the McLaren would have wanted, but one underdog once again has the DRS down into turn 4. Does he have the run? Not quite. He's just going to have to stay behind. Meanwhile, further back, Yordster and Butters going at it. Yordster trying to defend the inside. Butters able to go around the outside. A great move there from the McLaren. He manages to put himself up into P6. That was a great maneuver, you know? Fair play.
It was. But one underdog is all over Shredder right now. I'm expecting him just to hang on and wait for DRS on the main straight that he could pass there. But Stig is all over Echo right now. He almost went for an overtake going into turn 1 there that lap. I thought he did. If he did, I would have interrupted you. But he didn't do that. But now he's probably waiting for another chance. He is just using that battery. He's not giving it a chance to recharge and give it a proper run at him.
He wants to get that Mercedes, and he wants to get him now, but unfortunately it's just not working out right now for Stig, and he's just having to stay behind looking at that rear wing of the Mercedes. It's just not gone exactly the way he wanted. He's basically pushing him through that corner. The superior traction he had there was just immense. But meanwhile, once again, battle for P2 about to heat up. Underdog has a DRS. He's going to pull to the right-hand side. Shredder is going to clear the Alpine before they even make it to turn 1, as they're actually going to lap a Haas in the process as well. Underdog now up into 2nd place in this race. Shredder down to 3rd. Stig unable to do anything on Echo. He's going to have to stay behind as Shredder goes a little bit wide there, I think. He has a DRS once again, but I think he's just not close enough for now. No, he is not, so he'll have to stay behind.
Yes, but now...
Actually, wait a minute. Stig lost a lot of time. He lost nearly a second to Echo. What's happened there?
I'm not sure, but now all eyes are on one underdog. 8 laps on those mediums. That's when it's optimal window, at least for mediums, as he's already caught half a second on Gary just his lap alone. I think Gary may be managing his tires right now, because he is going at a snail's pace in these corners compared to what he was doing 5 laps ago.
Well, if you look at the tire wear of that Mercedes right now on those hards, they definitely do not look in great shape whatsoever. So yeah, he's definitely managing his tires, as he's probably within puncture range eventually. And Underdog is nearly closed in 2 seconds. He's nearly closed in 2 seconds on this lap alone. He's set a purple sector 2 for good measure. Underdog is flying.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if we see Underdog passing Gary. But we have 4 laps left remaining in this Grand Prix. For Gary, it probably feels like an eternity, but for Underdog, it's gonna go by in a flash. So it's gonna be awesome to see this ending of this race.
It definitely will. Underdog setting the fastest lap of the race. The first man into the 31s. He's just in another level right now. Stig unable to make a move on Echo right now. Yortster unable to make a move. And he's just going to have to stay behind Butters right now. Gap between Underdog and Gary, 4.4. But this is where Underdog kind of gains the most. It's Sector 2 where it's really the big difference between these two drivers. As Gary, remember, he's a Season 7 champion of Tier 3. Underdog, Tier 4 champion of last season, promoted to this tier. So, 2 champions, I guess you could say, going at it. And it is definitely not going to slow down anytime soon as Stig still on the back of Echo. You got a really good exit, though, out of turn 10. Not able to make a move, though. He's just a little bit too far behind. And they're actually closing in on a Haas right now as Nava is about to be lapped.
As Stig, once again, it just keeps using his battery. I do not understand the motive here. Use the battery right now. He needs to save up because he's all over Echo right now. Imagine if he had even 15 more battery. This would be an easy overtake for him.
It would be, yeah, but it's just not he's not managing, to put it simply. He's just simply not able to manage it properly. Lap 27 of this race. Gap between Gary and One Underdog, 3.7. He needs to gain 3.7 in just 3 laps. That's a bit of a tall order there for the AlphaTauri. Gary, though, he is struggling with those tires. You could tell just by how slowly he is going through these corners, and he's out of ERS for good measure. FinFan's retired. He's gone into the pits, and while that McLaren has just not had a good day, he's become the fourth retirement in this race. Gary, those hearts just don't look good at all. They just do not look pretty. He's able to manage it beautifully. As meanwhile, further back, Stig is looking for a move on Echo. He's finally bit the bullet. He's no longer looking for DRS. He's now going to go for straight up cornering as they bang wheels, the two. Red Bull and Mercedes battling out once again. Stig trying to go around the outside of turn 10. Not able to do anything. There's a lot of contact between the drivers. But Echo able to stay ahead for the time being. Stig once again has the DRS down into turn 11. Is he able to make the move? He breaks late, but it's just a little bit too far back. But elbows are starting to come out now.
For reference, One Underdog, in order to catch up to Gary, he needs to gain a second per lap. Coming to 2 laps left.
More than that, I'd say 1.3.
Yeah, 1.3 now at this rate. As now there's 2 laps remaining in the Grand Prix as Stig all over Echo. Still no battery. He's still using it, but Echo also has no battery whatsoever, so it's going to have overspeed no matter what for the Red Bull driver. But now down the shot on speed, Stig gaining on Echo little by little. He's going to go around the outside in turn 1, seeing a lot of contact here. Switchback gets a snap of oversteer on the rear, cannot do it. Trying to go for switchback once again, but once again, if he just had a lot more battery, I think he would just be able to get this done as he's all over, going for a huge send into turn 4. He gets it done, but Echo with a simple crossover move, just what a response by the Mercedes driver, really. In that motive of, nah, you're not going to get me with a huge dive bomb. But here we go once again.
Oh, he's just shoving him off the track there, and Stig manages to get ahead. By the way, Underdog is within a second of Gary. He's within a second. What has gone on? Gary has lost around about 2 seconds on this lap alone. Something is happening to that Mercedes, and this win that was looking a little bit on edge is now looking very much on edge.
I mean, if I'm Gary, really, he does not have the battery whatsoever as well. And also, with the superior traction, Underdog may just breeze by him here.
Here we go then, on the final lap. One Underdog has the DRS. It's the final lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. One Underdog pulls to the left-hand side. Gary trying to defend it, but he's just not able to. The superior straight line speed of the AlphaTauri. One Underdog takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix with 1 lap remaining. And now all he needs to do is stay ahead of that Mercedes because Gary, once again, has the DRS on. One Underdog is able to make the move. No, he's not. Stays behind. And that could possibly be curtains for the Mercedes. One Underdog, out of absolutely nowhere, found extreme pace. And now he's here. He's in the lead.
Gary's going at a snail's pace. I think he's very close to a puncture.
Shredder is not any better. Remember, he's on 1 lap older hards in relation to Gary. So these two are very close in terms of puncture range. And One Underdog has basically completely dropped Gary. He's completely dropped him already out of 3 seconds. So it's been an amazing season opener for Season 9 with these new era cars. One Underdog, promoted from Tier 4 last season going into Tier 3, a lot more competitive drivers. He landed up on the front row, and out of absolutely nowhere, finding the pace to pass 2 drivers, and he's gonna come across the line. He wins the season opener here in Bahrain. An amazing effort from the AlphaTauri. Gary will have to settle for 2nd place. Shredder will take 3rd, so he will take a podium. Stig will line up 4th. Echo in 5th, just not able to make those mediums work. Butters is holding off Yorster just about to take P6 in this race. An amazing race for the McLaren. Yorster from pole down to 7th. It's not been his race as Ryan Ocon will hold on for 8th. Rutski from 19th on the grid. He will finish in 9th place, so very good there from the Aston Martin. Redeemer will take the last points paying position. But take a bow, One Underdog. Not only doing the alternate strategy, but just having the pace and keeping it consistent. And man, oh man, he has set things alight.
Yeah, definitely. But for Gary, although he may not have gotten the win, I still see this as a net win for Gary and to Shredder as well. They were both mid-pack the whole race, decided to take that gamble, and it paid off. You see that reward part of risk and reward. It's one of those nights for those 2 drivers. Maybe a different track, maybe this wouldn't have worked.
Well, it definitely has worked in this case. And, well, out of all that, One Underdog will take the win. Gary, by the way, he's saying in a chat, he had 92% hard compounded tires. 92! And he didn't get a puncture. Fair play. Fair play, Gary, as he takes the podium. Shredder getting driver of the day, and he will take 3rd place, the last place on the podium. And I doubt he won't be happy about that, because if he wasn't happy about that, I'd be, well, I don't know. I'd be disappointed in him. I'm kidding. But no, One Underdog promoted up to this tier, and well, he's still fighting very much at the front like he did last season. He takes the season opener here in Bahrain. And the AlphaTauri is definitely going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah.
That sounded a bit creepy, but anyways.
I'm liking the new podium celebration in this game. I may actually show podiums when someone wins now. What I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the podium in general is just great. Anyways, with that, I assume you will invite the drivers for their podium interviews. But One Underdog takes the win here in Bahrain. Gary will take 2nd place. Shredder from 13th on the grid. He will grab that third podium spot. Stig doing 2 pit stops in this race, by the way. Well, he definitely had a lot of that pace nonetheless. He will take 4th. Echo will finish in 5th. Butters in 6th. Yortster 7th. Ryan Ocon in 8th. Vrutski in 9th from 19th on the grid. Redeemer rounding out the top 10 days. Iceman, Quick Tongue, Frizy, Nava, unfortunately missing out. We lost FinFan, DeCoach, The Unknown, and Loud Balloon from this race. And well, what an exhilarating Bahrain Grand Prix that was. I just absolutely amazed of how that went. But since I believe all the drivers are here, if I'm not mistaken,
They are.
just looking over, yeah, we do. So we can immediately get podium interviews underway. So drivers, be sure to include your audio in the party. And Zach, why don't you start us off with Shredder for P3?
Well, Shredder, you definitely didn't have the pace today, but you did have the tire management and the strategy right on the nail, which able to get you a P3. An awesome start to the season for both you and the Alpine team, with Ryan Ocon, I believe, getting P9 or P8. Just give us thoughts about your race, really, and what ultimately made you decide to go for it, really, and see what you could get out of it.
Oh, man, it was nuts. A crazy first race here to open Tier 3. Shout out to Ryan Ocon, double points for Alpine. But really, it was a struggle. I spun 3 times in this race, something like that. And the third time I spun, it was right before that safety car, and safety car came out. I was like, screw it, these mediums are fried. I put on some hards, and I was at the back of the pack, and I just kept going, kept trying to put in clean laps, keep it between the white lines, and all of a sudden I just kept passing people. Was up into second, or almost second there for a while, third, and just had a really big gap to the guys behind. So I just turned on conservation mode and just tried to bring it home. And my fronts weren't as bad as Gary's. I was up in the 80% range, but I was hanging on for dear life there, hoping nothing was gonna pop. But just surprised to find myself that far up the order there, and made it work. So it was a great race.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to shout out to Ryan Ocon there for double points for Alpine, really. Minico, do you have any questions for P3 Sitter Shutter?
I mean, I feel like at some point I'm always going to have a question, but nonetheless, great podium for you. Next week, though, we go over to Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Do you think you're able to convert exactly what you did here tonight, or do you expect that to be a little bit of a struggle come next week?
We're going to give it a shot. Bahrain isn't actually one of my stronger tracks, and we still turned it into a third. So, you never know what's going to happen. And in this tier, if you keep your nose clean, you're going to be in a good spot. So that's always the goal here for Saudi next week.
Yeah, that definitely will be the goal. Once again, congratulations on your third place spot. And now we shall move on to the second place man in this race, that being Gary. Gary, a bit of I would say a little bit of a lowly qualifying position considering where you were last season, but nonetheless, you still pretty much showed exactly why you're here. And with that tire conservation, 92%, pretty crazy. But out of all that, you didn't get a puncture, and crucially, you managed to grab a podium and quite an interesting Bahrain race. Tell us how it was.
Yeah, exactly that. Like I said, I had my teammate in my ear, so as soon as I saw the first safety car, well, the only safety car that came out, because I started on the mediums, I said, we'll be last. It was touch and go, but I took the gamble and obviously kept it going. Obviously, I had Shredder behind me, and I saw that gap closing, so I had to push more. And then, obviously, Underdog caught him, and then I was hoping he'd hold him off for as long as possible, but obviously, with your tyres as short as ours, you can only hold him off for so long. And by the time he got to me, mine were just driving on wires, basically. But yeah, good race. I'm happy with that result. But yeah, on to the next one.
Yeah, definitely off to the next one. What do you think your expectations are going into Jeddah? Do you expect to possibly be fighting for the win on a very consistent basis once again, or do you expect a little bit of a backseat one?
I don't know. I do like Jeddah, but obviously, like I say, after qualifying in this one, I did expect to be a bit higher in the grid from the start. But like I say, consistency in the race always follows through. So we'll just see what happens. You never know. It's a tight track. 20 drivers on there, all itching to get past. Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I can't wait to find out personally, as well. Jeddah, fastest street circuit. it's definitely going to be an interesting one, needless to say. But Zach, do you have any questions for Gary?
I don't have any questions, but I kind of wish that you let me interview him because I had a perfect joke. I like the perfect.
Well, do you want to just say the joke then? Just say it.
Yeah, there are three things constant in the breakout. There's three things constants. I'm messing this up really bad, but anyway.
Nice English.
There are three constants in life: death, Texas, Zach the Beast 42 interviewing Gary 5000 TM in a breakout racing league race.
Yeah, boy. There we go.
It's bound to happen at some point, and it's already happened. So there you go.
No,
we
GG's
pretty
to
much had it.
Underdog as well. Great drive at the end. Then really showing his colours and great win.
Yeah, and with that, once again, congratulations to you on a podium here in the season opener. Again, 92%. I'm just baffled by that. I don't know how you didn't get a puncture, but nonetheless, you made it.
Yeah.
But now we shall move on to the race winner of the Bahrain Grand Prix. And, well, if I'm being honest, not saying this in a bad way, but this has been quite a surprise, if I'm being honest. One underdog. You were obviously the Tier 4 champion of last season, and I had no idea where you were going to be this season, but wow, you have just shown up out of absolutely nowhere, put yourself on the front row, and having that alternate strategy work, and able to catch up to Gary in around like 6 or 7 laps to take the win. Tell us your thoughts on that, because that was exhilarating.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy thing because the safety car came out lap 4, I think. So I'm like, okay, do I stay on the hards or go on the mediums and stick on the softs at the end? But it's like, so I was just stuck on the hards. Did my original strategy. To be honest, I didn't think I was going to take the win. Because I was so far back.
I mean, you did nonetheless. I mean, you're just able to keep it consistent and, well, just not get any front wing damage from anybody else, making those moves whenever necessary, and, well, you've pretty much done it. You're once again back on top. But, however, it is only early days. Next week, we have Jeddah, the fastest street circuit, as I mentioned before. Do you possibly expect to continue this run of form, or do you expect maybe a little bit of a lackluster one? What are your thoughts?
Well, it is the fastest circuit on the calendar, but the track limits will be a key factor in that race. And it all comes down to time management at that race. Anything could happen. So I'm not putting myself up there yet, but anything could happen.
It definitely, a lot of things can happen indeed, but nonetheless, you managed to make this win happen by just having the tire conservation and the pace. Zach, do you have any questions for our race winner?
Not really, other than I'm assuming you've asked them. How are you feeling going into Jeddah next week, and knowing that you're holding the drivers' championship? Excuse me, I'm having a stroke again for the second time. How are you feeling now that you won Bahrain, leading the drivers' championship, looking to run it back?
Really not on my mind. I'm just want to race. Just get some good points. Take it race by race.
I think that'd be the good way to go, and, well, that's definitely your mentality, and I respect that. So, yeah, that was definitely the way to go, just taking it race by race. That's pretty much what you're doing right now, and, well, it's worked out here tonight, so once again, congratulations to your win. And, well, that is going to be everything for Tier 3 here tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow for Tier 1 and Tier 2. We switched up a little bit this time around for this season. Tier 1 is now before Tier 2 at 8 p.m. EST, and then Tier 2 at 10 p.m. And then next week, we show up to the fastest street circuits, starting up with a realistic at 8 p.m. EST. And then next week, we're here once again. Same drivers, completely different track, whole new challenge. We'll see what Jeddah has in store for us here tonight. But for Zach and I, that is everything. Good day, good night for Tier 1 and Tier